All right, welcome back. Hey, I know last week we talked about the sales process and the 5 different steps that were in there, and we're going to break down each step, and we're going to spend a little time perfecting each step so we really become proficient. But I wanted to hit this one first because this, I think, is probably one of the most important ones besides discovery, and we'll get back to that, is closing. There's an acronym in sales, and you've probably heard it and maybe understand it or haven't used it, or it's called the ABCs of sales. Always be closing. And I think this one is so important because let's look at the sales, the timeline of a sale, if you will, or during the sales process, depending on what nature of sale you're doing, you're covering multiple concepts. You might cover anywhere between 3 to 10 different concepts in the sales process. And what I've done here is I look at this. Let's pretend this is the timeline of a sale. And I want to go through this because I think it's important that we understand, when do I close? Or you might have heard them called tie downs. When do I use them? When is it appropriate? Because I don't want my customer to feel like I'm trying to strong arm them into a sale. I want them to feel comfortable with the buying decision. I want them to feel comfortable with the relationship. And I want to program them to basically say yes along the way. And how do we do that? So let's say this is our sale. So obviously in the sales process, we're at the beginning. We need to cover, let's say, 5 different concepts here. And it's really important, and I know that new people struggle with this because they get into it, they've got a presentation in mind that they want to say to their customer, so they forget to seek agreement along the way. And the key issue is something you want to seek an agreement on, and that's a concept of the sale. So that might be as simple as, I'm sure you would agree, wouldn't you, that this would be much better for your situation? Oh yes, it would be much better. Great. I've sought agreement. We agreed on that. Now I can go to this concept. I might talk about this concept for a few minutes and have a little Q&A back and forth to make sure that we understand what the concept is. But then I need to seek an agreement here. Now this would work better for you then? Yes. Okay, great. Now I can go here. Now that makes sense, doesn't it, Mr. and Mrs. Customer? Absolutely. Yes. Awesome. Great. Now I'm going to come here to this concept and I'm going to do the same thing. And then finally, after I've sought agreement, after we've agreed on all the concept in the sales process, and how I seek agreement is I'm always be closing. I'm always closing. Does that make sense? If I could, would you? That would probably be better for your scenario, correct? Yes, it would. If anywhere in here I don't get an affirmative yes, I don't get a yeah, that I understand and that makes sense. If I don't get that, then I might need to camp out here for a little bit. And I might need to have some dialogue back and forth to lead them to a certain ideology or thought that matches up. And once I get that, I can move on. And then when I get here, a couple things have happened. Number one, the customer feels like they've made the decision, not you. Okay? So they made the decision to buy, not you. All I did is use a well-orchestrated series of questions and answers and back and forth to lead them to a certain decision. I already knew going in where I wanted them to go, right? So yes, I feel like I've made the decision. And even more importantly, if they've said yes all along the process, they're programmed to say yes at the end when it really counts. When it comes to signing the paperwork, when it comes to, yes, I'm paying you for this relationship or service or whatever we're doing. That's how you generate revenues, by making sales happen. So remember, always be closing. And when you do that, it makes your life so much easier with the customer, and it's a stronger relationship with them. So next week we'll touch on a different concept, but remember, always be closing. All right, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to be the first to see the next one coming out, definitely subscribe. We'll see you next time at the Sales Shaman.